What's up, everybody? Welcome into a very special edition of CanesInSight Live. As you can see, I'm on site here at the legendary, let me move my head here. You see it right behind me, Lomelo's Meat Market. We announced the partnership a couple weeks ago. You guys have been hearing about the partnership that we got going on here with Lomelo's. Only place to get your meat for the tailgates. Ships nationwide as well. And I'm going to show you guys, I got some good stuff in front of me here. We're going to get this show started here in just a minute. Thank you, as always, to Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. But we got football this week. Notre Dame, Miami week. Excitement is building. Got to talk to some of the players today, so get into some of their comments. Unfortunately, we've got some cuts going on here when it comes to pro canes, some guys that have been waived, and hopefully they'll get a landing spot. I think some of them are going to end up here on practice squads, but we'll get more into that in just a second. Here we go. We already have a comment here saying the best meat in Miami from Weapons of Grass Destruction. And yeah, guys, I'll let some more people get into it. We're already over 120 people on here live, but I'll let some more people get in here before I show off some of this beautiful meat that I have here in front of me. And here, yeah, Weapons of Grass Destruction says stopping by there on Thursday to prepare for the weekend. So again, guys, lomelos.com for nationwide shipping. But if you're local in Miami, 9810 South Dixie Highway, US 1, about 5 minutes past Dadeland, 2 minutes past Dadeland, 10 minutes south of campus. So again, Lomelo's Meat Market. We'll get into some of the stuff I got here in front of me in just a second. But let's get into the NFL stuff, because this is big news early on here. Two notable cuts, man. And obviously don't like to see this stuff. But Xavier Restrepo, Miami's all-time leading receiver, being waived by the Titans. I think, unfortunately, as we saw here, after he went undrafted, the writing was a bit on the wall because of the reps he was getting throughout the preseason here. And look, unfortunately, I don't know that he got enough reps and showed enough for another team to claim him and say, let's make him, an active squad player, because that's how it works. But it does sound like early on here, the Titans do want to bring him back onto the practice squad. So I think that's obviously a great development for him. But yeah, look, I think we understand with the speed aspect of it, has had the odds stacked against him here. I think we hoped with the Cam Ward connection, there maybe would be an opportunity for him to get some extended reps here in the preseason and show what he's got. And he did have some glimpses, but keep our fingers crossed that he stays, gets another opportunity here, whether it's with the Titans or with someone else. Trick Daddy Kane saying, I always thought he would end up in Kansas City for some reason. They're very, they like to add guys with speed. I don't know that he necessarily fit that equation for them, but yeah, I think we all believe that if X is in the right opportunity to produce, he can do it. I think there's going to be doubt because of the physical nature of it, unfortunately. So that's one piece of news. I think another one that, based on what I was hearing during the week, wasn't necessarily as much of a surprise, but I still think that this guy has a ton of ability, and at this position, you see these sort of decisions made, and that's Damian Martinez. So he had a tough situation. From what I understand, George Halani, who was there in front of him, really had a solid camp. Martinez had a really good game, scored a touchdown for the Seahawks in the second preseason game, I believe. But consistency is where you're looking for. And we kind of saw it, unfortunately, at times at Miami last year. In the beginning, it took him a little bit to get going. It was awesome once the season got going, and really you got into the meat of it. And he State as well had a big slip further than I thought in terms of going to the seventh round. I thought this would be a fifth, sixth round pick, and he had some solid tape. Now, again, is that going to be enough for another team to pick him up and say we're putting him on the active roster? I don't know. There's going to be some veteran quality running backs that are probably ahead of him in the pecking order in that respect. But if he sticks with Seattle and continues to show consistency, I would say he'll be active at some point this year for them. Again, you know the nature of the position, the injuries. And I already know that there will be questions in the chat. Hey, Martinez have come back to school? It's a very tricky situation. It's a guy who got a lot of carries in the 3 years of his career here. Miami, I'm sure, would have loved to have him back. But at the same time, then who are you risking losing like a Jordan Lyle to a transfer? Because then you don't, and then we're all excited about Jordan Lyle too. So these are the sort of decisions, unfortunately, that sometimes, you know, there's not really a one answer to say, hey, he should have come back or he should have left. He got waived right now, but I think he's still got a bright future ahead of him in the NFL. So that was an unfortunate one. Some good news here. Andy Borregales winning the starting job for the New England Patriots. He was in a battle there, and of course he was a draft pick for them, but Andy, we're going to miss him this year. We know how consistent he was for Miami during his career. Talked about him a bit this morning, and still going to see who's going to be named the kicker for the Canes here coming up. Bert Auburn, Carter Davis. We'll see who it is. I'm trying to pull up the graphic that we had put out earlier, but yeah, man, this is a big one. The Canes now, in the last few years, you've had Michael Badgley, you've had Andy now. I think Jose. It didn't go his way in terms of the NFL, Borregales, but I think he was an NFL sort of kicker and was a great one in college also. So congratulations to Andy. It looks like Jalen Rivers is gonna make the team over there in Cincinnati. I'm trying to think if I missed anyone else. I saw KJ Osborne got cut, but I think as a vet, he should be all right in the grand scheme of things here. So before I get to my next topic here, I wanted to talk about some of this meat I have in front of us. So right here we got the high grade skirt steak. Let me try to get a good view of it. And we got people live coming in here at the store, and you love to see it. But we got the high grade prime skirt, most consistent. If you're tailgating wise, this is what you want right here. The tomahawk. Look at this bad boy. The tomahawk is. I'm making sure we get it good on the screen here. But if you're feeding a bunch of people, you're not going to get much better than this. The Australian, and then Georgie Lamelo's owner here has told me that this right here, this Australian ribeye, marble score 8.9, is as good as it gets when you're talking about ribeye. And then my personal favorite, it's not steak, but you know, if you come to Lamelo's, you know they can't keep this thing in the shelves. The jalapeno cheese Wagyu sausages. This stuff is unbelievable. So I'm telling you guys, again, come in store, 98th and US 1, or order online, lomelos.com. Promo code CIS10, 10% off your order. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, like, this is, you'll have this stuff and you're not going to want to go back to the regular, you know, getting it just at the grocery store. You don't even need to get the Wagyu to have the stuff that tastes a cut above. So check out the prime stuff as well. Lomelos, I'm telling you guys, best in the business. Lee Peterson says it's going to rain all weekend. Thinking crowd will be much less advantaged Notre Dame. I mean, listen, I don't know. I can't tell here, Lee, if you're a Miami fan or not. I know we've had a lot of Notre Dame. I don't want to accuse you of anything, but Miami people can get quite rowdy in the rain as well. So I think maybe could it keep people away? Could it keep people away from buying additional tickets? I'm not going to say that, but I'm not going to say that it couldn't, because we know it's still technically not a sellout. But at the same time, I don't think a little rain is going to stop Canes fans from being loud. I remember that Georgia Tech game, the Darrell Langham game, was an absolute downpour years ago, and it wasn't a super crowded stadium, and that place was loud. If you guys remember that game, let me know in the comments. Miami Angel Share Society says negative. Rain won't stop us from showing up. Here in Taylor, I don't know if you were, I don't know if you commented this before I said it, but he says that rain game in 17 against Georgia Tech was a blast. 30 screens in a row, then Langham. So, yeah, Jay says all the money they spend, they better show. Look, I agree. I think that if you spent your money, you're going out there. I think, could it prevent people from buying tickets if the weather's ugly that day? Of course. So wanted to get into some of the comments today from the team. We had Akeem Mesidor speak. We had Zechariah Poyser speak, Wesley Besant, and just overall, guys, you can tell the excitement's big. You can tell that they are excited to get that atmosphere. I mean, all of them kind of smile. They all lit up when talking about it. Wesley, in particular, saying that, he said, look, it's going to be amazing to have my family there. It's going to be one for the books, he said. He said he's very excited. Akeem Mesidor said, because one of the questions that he was asked was, look, Notre Dame, Miami, how did you guys hear about it? Was it just watching documentaries? And Mesidor said he went and did his own research and watched the 2017 game on YouTube because he heard how amazing Miami played. And he says it's getting them ready. It's getting them fired up, just kind of getting them in that mindset. So you can tell it means something different for these players. Mario, I mean, all the coaches, Heatherman, Shannon Dawson, they all made comments about what that crowd could be for them out there. So, yeah, I don't think that again, John Z saying rowdy drinking in the rain is a blast. Smoothly Abrasive says, I was at that Georgia Tech game. That's when we knew the stadium was an advantage. Yeah, there wasn't that many people in there at that point. I mean, it was, I don't want to have some revisionist history and say it was like the loudest thing I've ever heard, but it was way louder than what the situation maybe would have called for. Sean Stewart says way too early to talk about weather. I agree. I mean, we've been getting a lot of questions about weather here for the last week plus, and I don't, the weather people on TV aren't very accurate. I don't know that me and D Money are going to be very accurate calling the weather either. So we'll do our best. We're getting a lot of questions about it, but yeah, you can tell, guys, that the atmosphere is going to be built up. You saw, let me try to find this. Miami Hurricanes tweeted out earlier that around campus, I guess all the fraternity houses have signs outside saying wear orange. I saw yesterday that the gym on campus is going to be closing at 3 p.m. on Sunday because it's a student-run gym. It's, basically all the students who would be working, they want them out at the stadium. So anticipation is growing on campus. You wouldn't expect it any other way for Miami Notre Dame, but you add into the fact it's the first game of the season. Top 10, Dan Radakovich said yesterday, look, it's a big deal that Miami's in the top 10. So, yeah, Blue asking, still not a sellout. It is not officially a sellout. So take that for what it's worth. Traveling Fool says 87% humidity definitely works in our favor. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's going to be a 7:30 game, but we all know that it's humid no matter the time of day out here in South Florida. So, yeah, that's not something that I'm worried about in terms of Miami being ready for. They've been dealing with it, and yes, they have the indoor facility, but more than half the practice is outside anyways. So they're accustomed to it. They're acclimated. And to me, this is really a big test here early on for Corey Heatherman as media spoke to him yesterday. And, he's I described it yesterday. If you guys aren't on the Discord, I'll drop the link to the Discord here. And this is where I'm putting a lot of my kind of thoughts into writing and things that I'm hearing. I'll put them here, and I talk about a lot of this stuff on these shows as well, but I'm on there all day. I'm putting updates. I'm just posting stuff all day on the Discord, so go check it out. And one thing I posted last night, and a lot of what I do is these interviews that we see a lot of the quotes from when they have the press conferences on campus is I'll add context to some of the stuff. So Corey Heatherman, the quote that went viral yesterday from the press conference was him saying it's a nightmare to defend our offense, especially when these guys get in space. And you could tell when he said it, he was having like flashbacks about certain instances in camp that he was frustrated, you know. And I heard one thing in particular after the second scrimmage. So after the second scrimmage, offense won that day. Coach Heatherman was coming off the field, really was not in a talkative mood, so much so that a staff member went up to him and said, "Hey, Coach, you all right?" And he gives him one of those death stares that we see in some of the press conferences, some of the clips that we've seen. And he said, "This guy basically told me, we got to figure this thing out." And you could see he's maniacal, and he gets the way he approaches things from a detail-oriented manner. You see when he talks in these press conferences, there's stuff processing in his head at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And look, I'm not a comparison. I think the only comparison we should do is with the product on the field this year when it comes to the defense. I don't want to go back and say he's this way compared to Guidry when, at one point we were excited about Guidry. But at the same time, the energy that he approaches this thing with in terms of like keeping himself up at night trying to figure things out. And when I say frustration, it's more of like a figure this thing out like a puzzle sort of frustration. So when you have someone who's working like that and then trying to put these pieces to the puzzle together, Coach Heatherman talked about it. There's going to be a lot of different players playing in different spots. There's going to be, we talk a lot about rotations on the front end, and pass rushing in these third down packages, but there's going to be a lot of mixing up on the back end, as he said, a lot of switching up of coverages, right? Maybe mixing some zone up with man coverage, dropping guys back, which we don't like to hear about. We've had some tough times in the past hearing about defensive linemen dropping back. But when you have some of these pieces that he has at his disposal, it's an exciting way to look at it. And I know that he's ready to get going. As he said the other day, he said, "Look, I'm ready to go against another jersey because there's only so much you can do against these guys." He's been going up against the other side of the ball here since spring, and it was a different look in the spring with no Carson Beck. But I think he really, really saw what that offense is capable of here in the fall. Shout out to Ulysses Perez. He says, "Sup fam, just saw the Notre Dame depth chart. Young offensive linemen and not healthy. And their D-line, small average, 295. Miami, big money line." Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think as we continue to look more and more at this matchup, we just have to respect Notre Dame's run last season. Like you can't just, that's a battle tested to go that length. And we understand there's a ton of different personnel, new quarterback, like you mentioned, Ulysses. Jagasaw is banged up, and you lose a couple experienced offensive linemen, but the talent is still there, and there's still a good amount of experience on that offensive line. Defensive line-wise, I think it's something D Money has said all week, that they aren't as big as maybe you would expect from a Notre Dame group, but they're as productive as any in the country. I mean, Coach Dawson was talking about how quick those guys were and also strong. So yes, maybe not 300-plus pound guys, but I'll tell you, Miami has a ton of respect for that offensive line. So I think when you talk about defensive backs last year struggling, and the defensive line, I think, as referenced by the fact they really didn't bring in too many transfers outside of David Blay there, they felt good about what they had returning. So you need that production to step up. And right off the bat, this is a testament. If they come out here and win that battle, then you have to feel phenomenal about, of course, the ACC moving forward. Florida, you understand they've got some guys in the trenches, but it's not much of a different offensive line than what you face game one. I understand they're getting the hype that they're getting based off the finish that they had and the PFF stuff, but I don't think that Miami's defensive line unit is going to be like overly worried heading into that one. Like they know they've done it before against them. Notre Dame, it's a new challenge. So yeah. John Frank asking where my weighted vest is today. So I wore it earlier. I normally wear it when I'm, sitting down in my chair. We're here on location at Lomelo's Meat Market is, again, you see behind me, a beautiful logo. We got this Australian marble 8-9 score ribeye in front of me. We got this tomahawk. We got the high grade prime skirt steak. Now, this is, to me, this is the best stuff for tailgating because you just slice it up and everyone just grabs all the pieces there. But no, man, this is like I said, I'm here at Lamelo's. Now you got everything you need for seasoning too. Like this is your one-stop shop when it comes to, you know, your tailgate needs on the grill, man. So tailgating, and again, if you're nationwide, if you're not local here in South Florida, I know you're going to be watching games at home all weekend long. Saturday, you know, Miami plays Sunday, but I know you're going to be at home chilling, grilling. Get your Lamelos, get you ready to go. Not only the Wagyu, but the prime as well. So let me see if I got some more questions to get to here. Clutch, appreciate you, says def recommend the Discord. Yeah, having a lot of fun on there, man. Having a lot of fun kind of doing some write-ups. It keeps me even more in tune with a lot of the stuff that I've heard. And I just try to drop as much knowledge as I can on you guys in there. Michael Montalvo says, Ari from On3 surprisingly picked Miami to win, and he's a big-time Miami hater. Must mean people are seeing something brewing in Coral Gables. My dad texted me this morning that he was listening to Bruce Feldman. I don't know if it was on Cowherd, because I know he goes on Cowherd a lot, but Bruce Feldman picked Miami. Obviously, Bruce is a Cane. So not much of a surprise there necessarily, but Bruce is also as professional as it comes. So, and he has a very good perspective normally on where Miami stands nationally. So, yeah, I mean, I said it a little while ago, but Dan Radakovich mentioned it, athletic director, in his press conference yesterday, saying, look, we're ranked 10th in the country. That was not preseason what we were doing 4 years ago when Mario took over. That's what he said. So there are steps in the right direction, as we're all very excited about, not satisfied with how the season ended and understanding you still have to get over that playoff hurdle. But number 10 in the country to start the year is not too bad. And you beat Notre Dame there, and you're, depending on how it happens, probably jumping into that top 5 pretty quickly there. So, yeah. So let me see here. Oh, so Blue says Andy Staples picked Miami, and Andy's a Gator, I believe. And Ari picked Notre Dame. So they were split on that one. Notre Dame. Gary Furman says, jump on Notre Dame, -2.5. I don't know, man. That's not here. Not on this stream. I know we've had a lot of Notre Dame fans on here lately, but I think we're feeling pretty good on this side. We'll and tomorrow, you guys know what we got tomorrow. We have Hurricane tomorrow, the marathon from 3 to 8 p.m. Myself, D-Money, Mike Ryan, with a lot of special guests. Last year we had a lot of, you know, personalities you guys might notice from TV. We'll have a lot of those people will be back, and there's, you know, potentially some new faces here. So Hurricane tomorrow from 3 to 8 p.m. Always a great way to kickstart the season. And, you know, we got an extra day here with the Sunday game. So hopefully, you know, if you guys can't catch the 5-hour marathon, we normally kind of spread it out in terms of, like, we'll post everything. You can watch each thing individually as well if you can't catch it all live. But no, we always have a good time interacting with you guys on there. So let me see here before I hop off. Let me see if there's any more questions to get to. Don C. M. Leon says, Heatherman coach under Shiano, that alone means a lot in terms of preparation. I have faith in him. Yeah, and that's what I was getting to, man. I think obviously you have the new quarterback factor, but just the fundamentals, and that's kind of what was completely stressed today from the players, is that we got to tackle this week. There's only so much. Yes, you're going live in these scrimmages and these padded practices, but like still tackling the other team, still tackling a guy like Jeremiah Love, who has the ability to break a lot of tackles, make guys miss. He's a top-level back, right? One of the best in the country. We can debate, where you think he lands there, but this is one of the better backs in the country, and tackling is of the utmost importance. And when we talk about preparation, it's not just, hey, what's the scheme, but are those guys prepared to do the fundamentals? And Heatherman mentioned that last year at Minnesota, game 1, they missed 22 tackles against North Carolina. He was not happy about that. So stress playing through the hip, attacking the hip, that's kind of been his mantra this week is what he said. And the players have all talked about how it's been such a big focus for them. So let's see, man. I agree that I think he's ready for this job and the moment in Miami, but week 1, there's nothing quite like week 1. So we'll see what happens there. Jeremiah Love, over under 79.5 yards. Man, good one. Good question. I'm going to go over. I'll go over 86 yards. How about that? I think I said 86 yards for Malachi Toney as well earlier this week. So John Z says predict the two starting D tackles. I'll go David Blay and Anthony Moten. Breakout cornerback from Lakers all day. I will go, man, shoot. You could go any of these guys because I think OJ Frederick did break out to a certain extent last year, freshman All-American. We want to see him bounce back from that performance against Syracuse, but his body of work was awesome last year, and by all accounts has taken that next step. Xavier Lucas, with all the buzz that he had with the lawsuit, I think he hasn't fully broken out, but again, we talk about it with him. If you're getting a lawsuit because of a player, that means that player was pretty darn good. I'll go Damari Brown just because we've only seen him play. We saw him play limited role, played a good amount of snaps, important snaps his freshman year, but wasn't a full-time starter there, and then only played 2 games last year. So I think I'll tab him as the breakout guy at corner. So, yeah, guys, getting excited. The buzz is building. We're doing like 2-a-days here at CanesInSight. Had Amon Richards and Steve Kim on breaking down the matchup between Miami's receivers, and we relived some memories from his time playing against Notre Dame. So, yeah, man, I really am. I'm ready. I'm pumped. I think we all are. And again, appreciate Lomello's. We're here live in store. Check out lomellos.com. Again, if you're gonna come in store, 98th and US 1. About 10 minutes south of campus, right by Dadeland. There's no other place to get your meat for the season. Lomello's Meat Market. Appreciate you guys for hopping on today. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel. Go Canes.